My name's Alex. I'm 21 years old. I identify as a trans man. I started my transition with testosterone in 2017.
Okay, so my name's Chris. I use he, him pronouns. I am 28. I'm gonna be 29 in like a month, which is wild to think about. And I started my transition in 2015.
In November last year, I started a fundraiser called Safe Binders for Transgender Youth. It was really important to me because my first binder had hooks down one side and like three straps across on the other. And I used that for like probably 3 or 4 years. And now my ribs are like one sticks out a lot more than the others. So like it took to the weird shape of that. I thought that that was a good binder and that it would be okay for me. So with starting the fundraiser, I was able to raise a little bit over $900 to buy binders for kids that were using like similar kind of binders, or they were using ace bandages, or they were being champs and like getting through the day without even having a binder. Like we were able to get bought 12 of the Bareskin binders. The kids that have received them have messaged me and they're like, this is the most comfortable binder I've ever had. Like, I love it. Thank you so much. One kid said that they cried for like 3 hours after getting it. And with buying those from Flavin Streetwear, what professional role do you play as a part of the Flavin Streetwear family?
First of all, I love to hear that the kids love the binders. That's always really good, positive feedback. Obviously, there's plenty of places out there to buy binders, but we're really proud of ours. Secondly, definitely don't want to call you out, but it's pronounced flaunt. I know it's a V in
I'm
it.
sorry.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's spelled phonetically like you would think it's Flavin, and everyone says that, but it was just for like the aesthetics in the logo.
That's
And
awesome.
also for, it was a lot easier to copyright. So we are a really small team at Flaunt. There's four of us, so it's me and my sister are the co-owners, and our formal background is in like graphic design. So we design all the shirts, we print almost everything ourselves, and we actually designed the bearskin binder, the two of us. Even though we're not product designers, I had been binding for probably going on like 5 years at the time that we started talking about the bearskin binders. And Courtney came up with the idea that at the time there were no other binders on the market that came in skin tones. Underworks at the time had one color about my skin tone, but nobody else. Like it was just like one nude, and it wasn't a range. And the more popular binder company on the market, GC2B, didn't have any skin tones. And we were like, well, why is this not an option? Like most people, or at least in my experience, my own personal experience, I wanted my binder to be pretty invisible. Like I wanted it to not be visible under shirts. I was like often like, really it came from the need for like, I wanted to wear something at the lake in the summer. I live in Texas. It's 100 degrees here, like 4 months of the year. And like, I wanted to be shirtless, and like, there aren't tops that really like pre-op trans guys could wear. So that's what it came from, was like trying to solve a problem, trying to make a more diverse product for people that wanted something to match their skin tone. And then I came to the table with things I wanted to fix from other binders that I had been wearing. We were the first racerback option as well. I wanted something that like allowed for more
And
movement,
move your shoulders.
more comfortable. Obviously, like binding in general is not always going to be super comfortable. You're compressing your chest, like anything restrictive
Right.
is going to be uncomfortable, especially if you wear something too long and you don't listen to your body. But it allowed for, being able to like actually move your shoulders, straighten your back, stick your chest up, like take deep breaths. So we just brought things to the table that like kind of made sense to me, and like people around me and my other trans friends who were like, what would you think about this thing? And we would have like our friends test them as we were prototyping. My mom actually sewed the very first binder. She's a pretty good seamstress. But just so we had something to take to a manufacturer, because when we tried to just like describe it to someone who was not trans, like they people couldn't wrap their head around like how do I
Yeah.
make this? So like we were like, this is our idea. This is what you can buy out there. We need these things to work like this, but to be like that, like it was like a whole process. And we found a manufacturer who made some really great binders for us for a couple of years, and we in the last 3 years switched to someone local in Austin, which is really great. It's a woman here in Austin. It's like a whole all women team. It's led by a woman of color, and we get to like check in and be there and like be really hands on. It'd be a lot cheaper to like outsource, but it keeps it close to home, and
Right.
we get to put back in the community. And it's been really great. We've changed the design of the product over the last couple of years, like a few times, different things that people gave us feedback on. We've expanded to, we started out with 4 colors, and now we have 7. I think we have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. 7 colors now, including a black and white, but 5 skin tone colors. And we've expanded to a 2X. In 2020, we plan to go to a 3X and hopefully more, but then COVID hit. So now we're kind of a year behind, and that's our biggest goal for right now is just keep expanding. So that I'm the co-owner. I helped design things like that, and we appreciate like people in the community wanting to like support a community run like business. And we love that you're making binders accessible. We definitely understand that we don't have the size range that some of the other companies that have been making binders longer than us have. We something that we are actively working on, but we definitely like people come to us sometimes and we don't have their size, and we're like, hey, like we won't be offended or can't be offended that we don't offer something that works for you. Like we want you to find what works for you. We just hope one day we can service everyone. We just started out as a t-shirt company, or apparel, and we still sell a bunch of shirts. I mean, we're about 50-50 with binders and shirts and like joggers and hats and stickers and all that. But we just started out. I wore a shirt I wore a shirt to Austin Pride in 2013 that said Pretty Boy on it, and I had made it for myself. And a bunch of people asked me where I got it. And so that was literally the birth of Flaunt, was that we were like, should we make like pride shirts or like shirts for the community? And like that coming spring 2014, like our birthday is April for Flaunt. So we're coming up on, this is going to be 7 years we've been around. We were like, let's make shirts. And then like 2 years in, I still hadn't had top surgery. Courtney was constantly like, why do you not have something to wear? Or like, why isn't there something better? It's funny because like she's not the trans one of our partnership, but she like saw me like complaining about like how I didn't like how this fit, or like I wish there was like something more subtle. And well, the last like year before I had top surgery was spent prototyping, fundraising, and making the binders. And like the last like 7 months before my surgery, I actually got to wear our product. And then I like thankfully had top surgery, but like it took so long to produce something we were really proud of. But yeah, so we just started out as shirts, and now we do binders and shirts. We hope to like, we're not sure what the future holds. Like maybe there will be more apparel out there, maybe more gender affirming products. Definitely right now people seem to be responding well to the binders, and we're really proud of them. So like just continuing to make them as inclusive as possible. Yeah.
Honestly, one of the biggest reasons as well that I wanted to be able to give binders from Flaunt is because I saw that you guys also give back to help people like get top surgery.
When I was in like high school and college, like Tom's shoes was like so popular because people wanted to buy something that they felt good about and that gave back.
Mhm.
And so like in my millennial brain, I was like, I think a lot of our demographic really feels better about supporting a company that is somehow making the world better. So Courtney and I were like, well, how can we do this, but in a way that feels more personal? And so we were like, let's help people fundraise. At the time I was on Tumblr, and everyone, you know, like super common to be sharing your GoFundMe's. It's super hard to afford like transitioning and surgery and all of that. And we were like, well, what if we like sponsor individuals? And that way those people get the support of a whole community behind their backs, like, which is really great and important for the trans community, because a lot of people, you know, don't have the support of family and friends or the means to do anything. So we just kind of were trying to find a way to set ourselves apart, make a difference, and like in a way that felt really authentic to our community. And so we opened up the idea to fundraise for individuals. And so we do so by opening up an application, and anyone can apply as long as they're over the age of 18. They can be anywhere in the world. We've only worked with people in the United States so far, just because it's a little bit easier as far as like, like medical laws. And the application process is just sort of like, hey, what are you fundraising for? Tell us about you. It's sort of like a job interview, but like we're mostly looking for someone that like meshes with like our values and seems like we would be a good fit for them as well. And it's open not only to trans men. We've had 2 trans feminine partners, and we've had one non-binary trans masculine person, and we fundraised for, so we're on our 13th partner right now. We've done 1 phalloplasty, 10 top surgeries, and 2 breast augmentations so far. And between those individuals, we've raised right around $30,000 between all. It is nice to hear that like it's working, that people love it, that they feel better in their bodies. Cause like at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want it to work for people. I mean, I am grateful and blessed to have had top surgery now, but like I remember the days of binding, and like if we can make it, one, more comfortable and safer, but also just something that like brings some joy to people and they feel euphoria in their body, like that's the best thing. So
on an ending note, what like piece of advice would you give to anybody that is starting to bind and like anxiously waiting for top surgery?
I think that something I want to say about binding is something we've been talking about, and we actually posted on our Instagram a little bit about it today, is that unfortunately, and like this is going to sound kind of bad as a business owner that sells binders, but like unfortunately, there isn't a perfect solution.
Yeah.
Different binders work for every person, and also you might not be perfectly flat because you need to be safe. You need to wear something that's comfortable. You need to not harm your body, but also your body has lumps and bumps, and your skin has wrinkles, and like, so your binder may not always be flush, and that's totally okay. I think like having measured expectations about what binding looks like, what it should feel like, and most importantly, listening to your body when you're binding. Like if you feel good in a binder, that's the binder for you. Like you might not look exactly like the model on a page, but like try several sizes, get the right fit for you, try different brands, get the right brand for you. But like just know that like binding is not a one size fits all thing. I think that that's kind of, I think for me, like when I was first binding, I was like, is this right? Is this whatever? Or like, I was so small chested, but everything was uncomfortable. And I was like, how is like, and like just knowing that like there's a way to make binding work for you, and just like communicate with brands and businesses if you have questions, do your own research, and like most of all listen to your body. And I think just like also like knowing like it might not be like super perfect all the time, but like also like I think that once I had top surgery, I was like, oh yeah, like most people's chests aren't perfectly flat. So like if there's like a little bit happening there, like that's like what every person's chest looks like. Cis, trans, male, female, non-binary, like, like no one is noticing that little bit. Like I think that a lot of us like would obsess. Like you want to be flat.
Right. Like I would like push my shirt and I'm like, do you think somebody could notice this? And I'm like, I'm only noticing this because I'm like making the shirt 10 times tighter than it will be at any point in the day.
Right. So I think, I mean, like just part of it, I think like my short answer is like listen to your body, and also like find what works for you. And like you're the one who's like the most aware about it. So just figure out like what makes you feel euphoric in your body, and like go with that. And like that, whatever brings you the most confidence is what you're going to put into the world. And like people will read that. But yeah, just find what works for you.
Thank you for being willing to be like a resource. And because a lot of people, like you said, they think it's competitive. They don't want to share like information, but thank you so much. Like together, I really think that if people keep doing this, kids 20 years down the line are going to be able to be more comfortable a lot sooner than we were probably able to. So thank you for being a part of that, Chris.
Yeah, you too. This is a really wonderful chat. I hope you have a good rest of your Friday.
You as well. Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.